Hello and welcome to the Second Tier Podcast. I'm Ryan Dilks and I'm joined by the Jack Marriott to my Martin Waghorn. It's Justin Peach.
Good afternoon.
Justin, last week you had your first game of football in 11 months and you played 6 minutes. Can we have an update on how much you played this week?
Well, no, I wasn't in the squad, but quite rightly so. It's 11 months. I'm still working my way back. You don't rush into these things. I thought you were going to bring this up, but
towards match fitness.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring this up, but yeah, fair enough. I was a first aider today, so that was fun. Yeah.
It's all right. One day you're off the bench, next minute you're the physio. It's a tough way to get back to fitness, isn't it? You'll get there soon, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, you'll never get there. Sorry. Crack on.
I definitely won't. We're joined on the show today by Championship expert Benjamin Bloom from the Benjamin Bloom YouTube channel. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. The issue is you've put that analogy, the Waghorn Marriott thing, and with my ridiculous brain now, it's exploding going. So were they together and they've now been taken apart? Were they in competition for the same place? And am I the Jordan Ibe to your Martin Waghorn? And that's very nerdy and very Championship and probably bang on for this podcast.
It's a very on brand. We're also joined by Tom Phillips from the Cardiff podcast, View from the Ninian. Tom, are you well?
I'm not too bad. Thank you very much for having me on.
Being the only Welshman of the group, you can be the Tom Lawrence of that.
Oh, notch, I'll take that.
Well, the big game from this weekend was, of course, the East Midlands derby between Derby and Forest. It finished 1-1. However, it was controversial after Derby had a Kamil Jozwiak goal chalked off for offside after Martin Waghorn was deemed to be obstructing the view of the goalkeeper. Justin, your thoughts on this, please?
My immediate thoughts were yelling and screaming at the linesman at the TV. But on reflection, is it offside? Is it not? It reminds me of De Gea one last season against Everton, which is really specific, but it's the only one I can think of. But it's a weird argument to have. He's quite clearly not in the goalkeeper's eye line, isn't he? He's nowhere near the goalkeeper's eye line. But all the linesman's going to see is, he's got a completely different view of it. All he's going to see is Waghorn jumping and maybe an arm go up, and it took him a while to decide. So maybe he wasn't sure, and in the end, he's put his flag up just because he wasn't sure. And you say fair enough, but as a Derby fan, you're raging because it should have been a goal. It absolutely should have been a goal, but it wasn't. But for me, the big chance or the big turning point was Shinnie missing the 1-on-1, not necessarily the disallowed goal.
I could see what the linesman gave it, but excuse me, I think it was more controversial that it got chalked off than it would have been controversial had it not been chalked off. Either way, Philip Cocu was seething after the game. Having said that, this was easily Derby's best performance of the season, Benjamin. Would you agree?
It was their most viable performance. I think, to be completely facetious about the question, the best performance has to be go to Norwich, have this, defensive plan, and it work absolutely perfectly. But in the spirit of your question, yes. And this is how Cocu should probably be judged. You've got Waghorn back now. You've got Jozwiak and Lawrence now flanking him. You've got Bielik coming back as well. You can possibly then get Bird and Rooney in the double pivot. And it would be very silly to judge the manager that's tried to build that team and not give them a chance to actually put them on the pitch. So in terms of viability going forward, then yes, I agree, Ryan.
Yeah, Martin Waghorn got Derby's goal, a beautiful free kick. It was his first start of the season, and Derby have really struggled without them, haven't they, Justin?
Yeah, definitely. Benjamin pointed out you can't necessarily judge Cocu on the first load of games because he's been without all of his attacking players. Any team's going to struggle without their first teamers. Well, Derby have struggled without all of their first teamers at periods of season. And obviously Waghorn coming in, you can see the quality he's got, firstly, with that free kick, and obviously his hold-up play at times as well was great. And it got players into the game, and Derby were a different customer going forward. But going back to the free kick, it was a beautiful goal. And obviously Samba took a step to his left, and he might have got it had it not, but it came off under the bar, so probably not. It was a great goal.
What did you make of Forest, Benjamin? Because I thought they were fairly poor.
I'm interested to see. The most interesting thing, I think, was Grabban and Lyle Taylor both starting. And we've seen Daniel Farker do something similar now, starting Pookie and Hugill Norwich. I suppose we're going to expect from Chris Hughton very sturdy, very solid. Hang on, wasn't we saying this about Sabri Lamouchi last season? Not very spectacular, but I expect the points to mount up. But yeah, I agree. I don't always agree with Ryan, by the way, but I've agreed twice now that I would probably be more excited about the upward trend from a Derby point of view than the Forest point of view. But you just don't want to lose these derbies. And in this ridiculous 5-game fortnight at the moment, context is king. And it's, did you come out with 8, 9 or 10 points from the 5 games rather than looking at any one with the heavy load of fixtures?
Are you optimistic about Forest's chances of bouncing back from a poor start with Chris Hughton now in charge?
Me?
Benjamin?
Yeah, oh, very much so. Chris Hughton, my go-to opinion on Chris Hughton is, if given stable conditions and the finance to challenge, and I know that kind of takes in most people, Chris Hughton has proven now at Birmingham, at Newcastle and at Brighton that he will challenge in the Championship. Obviously, the huge caveat is, do you get stable conditions and no chaos at Forest? History would say no, but hey, we'll see if Hughton maybe can be the calm, statesman-like presence that he normally is and calm Marianakis down and actually get 2 seasons to make the challenge.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Tom, let's talk about your game, because Cardiff drew 1-1 with Middlesbrough. When we spoke with you at the second game of the season, Tom, we were getting quite excited about Cardiff's chances, but it's only 2 wins in 6 so far. Have you been a bit disappointed at the start?
Yeah, it looks disappointing, doesn't it? Down in 15th in the league. But I'd rather spin it that we're 4 unbeaten, albeit 3 draws. But, it's not all doom and gloom at the moment. We're 3 off the playoffs as it stands. We've just started to add a bit of quality to our squad with Wilson, and it's gonna take a bit of time for it to bed in. We're trying to reduce the average age of our squad, which, because it was so old, it was again quite worrying. It still feels like a transition period with Harris, which is weird, saying he's been there a year, and we haven't had a proper pre-season at any point. We've still got new faces coming in, and I feel like I've been saying this for months, but it feels like it's around the corner, the good performances, and the points are going to come, and it's just going to take a little bit more time to bed in.
Where have you struggled so far?
Weirdly, defending set pieces, and I just didn't think that would be our issue, with Morrison and Nelson at the back. But we seem to leak goals. I think our last 5 goals at home, 3 have come from set pieces, and 2 have come from just giving the ball away, needlessly giving the ball away. So we've struggled with that, but we're conceding first all the time. We're starting slowly. We've conceded first in every home game so far. And, we don't seem to come alive until the 60th minute, where we've suddenly gone, we're not bad as a team. We're matching up against our opposition here. Now let's have a go. I think the Bournemouth game that's just gone was the first exciting game Cardiff have had this season, and maybe for even longer, to be honest with you. We got at them. Yeah, we looked like we might concede a few goals, but we looked like we might score a few as well. And that's where we struggled. We just haven't created many chances where keepers have had to pull off remarkable saves, apart from that Bournemouth game where we hit the bar and had a couple of chances there. We're just really not kind of testing opposition keeper. Sounds very Sunday League, but we're not testing the keeper enough, and we're just not getting at our opposition at all.
Benjamin, that should be helped a bit now by the addition of Harry Wilson to the squad, shouldn't it?
Yeah, which is now your kind of Championship go-to lone player. We've seen him at Hull and at Derby before. And again, it keeps perpetuating this idea now that teams with parachute money, look at Cardiff, they're going for lone players. It's right, I'll spend the money on Harry Wilson for 1 season on a loan fee and the salary and Ojo and Tutu. So that seems to be the plan by the Cardiff higher ups there. Hopefully it's more Lee Tomlin under Neil Harris than Jed Wallace under Neil Harris, because that's 2 creative players there managed by the same guy. Tomlin was really good last season, wasn't he, for a while? And then I just think of Jed Wallace, and he really improved under Rowett, didn't he? And I'm just wondering which one we're going to get. But if they can get him on the ball in dangerous areas, Wilson will obviously do damage.
Yeah. Have you still got your eyes on a promotion/playoff push this season, Tom?
If you offered me 6th now, I'd bite your hand off. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near the top 2. I just don't think we've got the quality and depth there. I think we're a couple of injuries away from really, really struggling. I think before the season started, I think I said 8th, ever optimistic like I am. But, we've got a chance of sneaking in the playoffs. Because I think there's a few teams above us who you'd think would drop off. I'd like to say Swansea, Bristol City as well. But, I think their clubs are lack a bit of depth. And I keep thinking Reading are going to drop off. But who knows? Our 2-1 loss to them doesn't look quite as bad as it did earlier in the season. But, we've shown flashes of stuff. Like we had a 0-0 draw with 10 men against a free score in Blackburn. So we're stubborn a beat. We looked okay against Bournemouth. We won Forest away as well. So I'm hoping that we sneak into the playoffs. I think that's the best we can hope for.
And Justin, what were your thoughts on this game from a Middlesbrough perspective?
It was a Warnock performance, wasn't it, away from home? But the plodding along nicely under Neil Warnock, and I think for as long as they are making it difficult for teams to beat them, because last season they were very easy to beat, they're constantly improving. They're unbeaten in 6, so this was always going to be a difficult game for Cardiff. But obviously, Borough were quite happy being 1-0 up, which showed, and obviously getting a goal from a set play was against the tide a little bit against Cardiff. But the players they've got going forward, they're a really good side, or they can be a really good side, which is the exciting thing for Borough, I think.
Yeah, what a header by George Saville, by the way.
He's coming away from it,
Yeah, 2-2 for him now. Borough played this game in a horrible white kit with loads of scribbling on it. They deserve to have a point taken off them for that shirt alone. It was disgusting. Justin, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I quite like the kit.
It's awful. It's the worst kit I've seen this season.
Right.
Anyway, cheers, guys. Right, let's get around the grounds, and we'll start off